Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located right here in Oklahoma City at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Don't forget to go check them out as they have weekday lunch specials and they have house margaritas for just $5, frozen or on the rocks. It's the best medicine to get you over that hump day on Wednesdays. And don't forget to let Abel know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for an extra 10% off your entire purchase. It's the only dine-in restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to the Black Phone. Welcome to Season 5, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the guys, the good fellas. Craig?
Every week? What's popping?
Every week.
Sorry.
Ed, what about you? How you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Doing good, man. It has been a week. It has been a weekend, and it's been a weekend that I would like to forget. But we will talk about it. We'll get into it. Craig, what about you? How was your weekend?
Same as last week. Football, more football, including Sunday. Caught up on House of Dragons. Watched the new episode, and we're just moving along.
Moving right along. And you know what, guys? We had a fun episode last week. If you guys want to go back and listen to last week's episode, go for it. It was fun. We reviewed a Denzel movie, Denzel Washington movie for our 4th year anniversary. We talked about Philadelphia, which is, you know, our year this year. Our theme is Denzel Washington, so why not celebrate our 4th year with Denzel? You know, I look back, you know, it was such a fun episode talking our top 5 favorite conversations that we've ever done. You know, just super, super fun. So go back and listen to it. Check us out wherever you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify. And thanks to the Prescribed Films Network, iTunes. So check them out, www.prescribedfilms.com, hashtag the PFPN. You can go check them out along with us, the Movie Defenders, Attack of the Killer podcast, a bunch of other great movie podcasts. So definitely worth the check out. And you know, me and Edward are going to be in Iowa in a few weeks, October the 7th, 6th and 7th and 8th, somewhere around that weekend. We'll have a little booth. Come hang out with us, come see us, and Halloween Palooza. You know, smack dab in the middle of horror season. That's what today's all about. Today starts horror season for us. And, you know, it's something that we started the podcast off with almost 5 years ago. And, you know, it was something we kind of got away from last year. But this year, all 2 months now, you know, back at it, talking some horror movies, starting today. But yeah, guys, and if you want to hang out with us and find us on the social media, giveaways, all of our posters, whatever you guys need to find, links to some partners or some different interviewers that we're going to get ready to have, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, the Instagram, one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Twitter is at Cine-Men405, or email us, send us some emails, and let us know what you think about the show, and, you know, let us know what we're doing, and put in your 2 cents, and we'll read it out here on the show. CINEMEN921@gmail.com. We read and get into the email bag every single week. So other than that, guys, we'll get ready to talk some movie news. There's been some pretty entertaining stuff this past weekend. We'll get into D3 happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Disney news coming out of that. Some Marvel stuff, Disney Plus stuff. So yeah, but we also have some great sponsors on this show, and what better way than to start by talking about Rodeo Cinema.
Oh, I had CD Electronics up first. I'm sorry. Rodeo Cinema is Oklahoma City's oldest. Jesus Christ. OKC's exclusive nonprofit art house and cinema with 2 historic locations, offering a variety of film, music, and live performance. You can go check them out on Instagram at Rodeo Cinema, all one word. They have a link in the bio. You can go to there, click on the link, check out their website, go see all the new movies that they're going to be showing, all of the historic movies. I mean, it's one of the, it's a great location. We were just there a couple weeks ago for The Room showing. And man, it's they have comfy seats, good popcorn, fresh popcorn, coffee, snacks, anything you could ask for at a local art house. So go check them out. 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Actually, as we start recording this at 7, Keaton Thompson is hosting the Emmys live right now on Peacock and NBC. The Emmys, give or take, I keep up with TV shows, but not that much to watch the awards for TV shows. We are getting ready to get into peak award season for movies and TV. Anybody have any thoughts? I know if Zach was here, he would get into some maybe some favorites that he wants to see win. What about Emmys though?
Doesn't that mean that it's been a year since Will Smith slapped?
No. That's the Oscars.
Oscars. Okay.
Yeah.
Emmys is TV.
TV
Gotcha.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
TV series, TV movies, anything TV. That's the award show tonight. There's some Disney Plus and some Marvel TV shows that are up for some awards and grabs. But I think some of the bigger ones I think are like Better Call Saul. But I just thought I'd bring that up. I don't know if anybody else is into some TV shows getting some awards or not.
I'm not into award shows anymore.
So the Disney Plus weekend, or the Disney weekend, was here and upon us. It was their kind of their almost like their Comic-Con, I guess, if you will. Displayed a bunch of stuff. Thunderbolts cast was released. Craig, what do you think about the Marvel stuff over the weekend? Anything that grabbed your attention and just made you like super excited? I know they announced the Fantastic Four director and the release date for that.
Yeah, one thing that caught my attention was don't hate me if this is inaccurate, but I'm pretty sure on the Thunderbolts roster, Taskmaster was there. Is that correct? On the far right of the poster, Taskmaster from the Black Widow.
I know Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, David Harbour. Yes, Taskmaster has been announced.
Okay.
John Walker and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Agent Allegra.
That's really all I care about, is doing Taskmaster justice. I feel like they completely let down that character in
July 26, 2024.
Yeah, in the Black Widow movie, I feel like they completely let down that character. So do that character justice, and let's get it rocking.
So this sounds like this is the Marvel version of Suicide Squad. Am I right? A group of supervillains are recruited to go on a mission for the government. That's the only subplot for the movie.
Yeah,
that's pretty much
like it.
So, you know what? If this, when this cast was announced, I was like, you know what? Now the Black Widow movie and now the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, they're all coming to intuition. You know, it's like, oh, okay, they weren't just
You're talking about at the
cash
end when
grabs.
she's kind of
Yeah.
recruiting.
Yeah. So that made me happy. And I'm glad it's an actual movie, and I'm glad it's not like a TV series. But I do have it was a lot of stuff that they went ahead and announced from over the past weekend. I know they introduced Zootopia Plus. I don't know what that is. I think that's going to be a TV show. Inside Out 2, Hocus Pocus 2, obviously, Peter Pan and Wendy, Mufasa, the Lion King prequel, Disenchanted, which is a Disney Plus exclusive movie, Haunted Mansion, The Little Mermaid.
Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy?
No, I think it's a remake.
Damn it.
And then Snow White, I think it's going to be a live action movie. Win or Lose, Disney Pixar. So they released a lot of stuff. And then, it made me think about you, Ed. And I shared the trailer over the weekend, the Santa Claus TV series.
Man.
Did you guys see the trailer?
No, when I
legit didn't watch anything from D23.
I didn't hear anything about it until I saw the trailer, and I'm like, no, this can't be real. I watched the trailer. Dude, Tim Allen looks phenomenal. Bernard is back. They're bringing the entire original cast back. Yes, it's a Disney Plus TV miniseries, but you know what?
It's the original cast.
It's the original cast, and you know what? In the trailer, he says it. He's like, I'm retiring. I'm looking for a replacement. And the ending interview is him interviewing Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning's like, I can't wait to tell Brady. And then he was like, I can also sing. And then Tim Allen was like, Brady's got a better voice. And then the trailer ends. And dude, it just looks funny. And you know what? Anything Christmas, anything Santa Claus, Tim Allen, I'm all for it. So I'm like really, really excited for
I
the
got
Santa
a little
Claus
goosebumpy
on
the back when you talked about it.
The trailer's on the podcast Facebook. You guys should go check it out. I thoroughly enjoyed the trailer. They also released the second and final trailer for Hocus Pocus 2. Honestly, the trailer turned me off. I think it's just too much. I think they're just throwing too much nostalgia out at once. Other than wanting you to get the feels for 1993 and a Disney TV movie, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of glad. I understand why now they didn't put it in theaters. I think it would have bombed, honestly. I'm not excited for it. Am I gonna check it out? Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Andor comes out next Thursday, the 21st?
Yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday is the 21st.
So next Wednesday.
Ant-Man, the trailer from D23 officially introduces Kang the Conqueror in the trailer. This will be his very first MCU movie, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens. And this is supposed to be the final Ant-Man movie. Makes me wonder if this is the next big bad guy, and this is the movie they're introducing him in. What is he gonna do? Is Ant-Man gonna flourish? Is he gonna pop? Is he dead? I'm gonna be interested to see what happens. So
how did all of this go under the radar? I was on Twitter all weekend.
Dude, you should have watched. My Twitter blew up with all the Disney news came out.
Dude, my Twitter had nothing. Wow.
It was
I'm on college football season, I guess.
Gotta get those hashtags up.
The Barbarian hit $10 million opening weekend. Some of the reviews are calling it the scariest movie in decades. I don't know how much I want to believe that, but Skarsgård's in it. Justin Long is in it. Looks like a pretty solid cast. It's got some really good.
Skarsgård.
They also said that people had to go to the hospital during paranormal activity. So,
yeah, that's true.
It's hard.
I had to go to the hospital during paranormal activity for how bored I was. And then you know what? I thought I would throw some light. A few weeks ago, we talked about Brendan Fraser getting a lot of Oscar buzz for his movie, which it is officially Oscar season. The Oscar movies are officially coming out this month. My Policeman, Harry Styles is getting tremendous Oscar buzz as well from My Policeman, and it looks to be like a very, very promising movie. It's getting a lot of buzz already. There's talks of him getting 7 to 8 minute standing ovations at the end of the movie whenever the movie's over at some of the Toronto film festivals and stuff. So stuff like that. And even though it's not going to make shit at the box office, I still like to see stuff like that happening. Standing ovations don't happen much anymore. So to Brendan Fraser getting one, Harry Styles is getting one. Fuck it, I guess we'll hand out to everybody, I guess.
So, well, I mean, so
But
if Harry Styles
is deserved,
if Harry Styles is getting a deserved standing ovation, does that make you feel a little bit better of his spot in the upcoming Marvel, his position in Marvel?
I just think the way they introduced the character at the end of the Eternals was kind of, nothing against Harry Styles. I think he's going to do phenomenal. Everything he's kind of been in lately has been really
I
good.
think it was like throwing it in there, and you didn't like that.
Yeah. But you know what? I didn't say, with the whole Disney Plus weekend thing, I didn't see anything about another Eternals movie or anything about any of the cast or characters. I wonder if that's just officially scraped.
Yeah, they're probably done with that.
So other than that, that's really all I have movie news, unless anybody else wants to bring anything up from over the Disney weekend or anything Marvel. Did you see that the DC? What's the DC con that they usually have? They usually have something. It was officially canceled and postponed. They're not doing it this year, so that makes me also wonder, like, what are they doing with DC? Is it a wrap or what? But yeah, interesting. So
they have nothing to show. They're just
nothing at all. But yeah, let's get into some recent watches. Ed, we'll start with you. Is there anything over the weekend or the week that you checked out that you want to kind of recommend?
I mean, Black Phone. Obviously, I think you should go watch that.
Peacock.
Yeah, real good take for that matter.
We'll get into it.
Exactly. As well, just haven't really watched much. Caught up on She-Hulk. Episode 4, and then that.
Since that's pretty much it for you, then I'll start with mine, and we'll talk She-Hulk for a little bit. Episode 4 is the first episode of the series that I was like, this episode shit the bed. Even though it was still funny and a little entertaining, I was like, this was an episode I could have done without. They didn't really tie anything into anything. It was kind of just a filler episode. Makes sense?
Basically, yeah, because I mean they just did a bunch of stuff with Wong and a BS like magician kind of thing that is kind of stealing their old practices, couldn't make it, and then he just releases a bunch of demon bats on everybody that grow insanely quick.
This episode, I feel like the series took a step back. 1, 2, and 3, I felt like it was funny. Everybody had good chemistry. They were maybe going to introduce Abomination as the main villain, and then now it's like there's really no Abomination in episode 4. Let's give you this fucking magician, and now you're kind of just like, okay. Well, I hope episode 5 and 6 it makes up for it, and it could.
She's twerking with Meg the Stallion, so there's
funny.
That I mean, it was funny. She
that was at the end of episode 3.
Yeah.
But other than me getting caught up on She-Hulk, I finished episode 3 of House of Dragons. I did not watch episode 4 last night. I'll probably do that this weekend. For some reason, I don't know why. I checked out The Nutty Professor 1 and 2. They're pretty funny. It was kind of good going back and checking those movies out. Little Nicky for a recent episode of Friday the 14th podcast. And then, you know what? Black Phone, and it was a slow week for me as well. The only new movie I checked out was Pinocchio on Disney Plus. I don't want to say that it was trash because then I'll sound like a hypocrite because I love the Lion King remake. But the Pinocchio remake was exactly the same thing like the Lion King. It was the exact same thing as the original cartoon animated movie. Tom Hanks was okay. Pinocchio looked good. But you know what, guys? We're in 2022. Why in the hell does the CGI look so bad? Pinocchio gets a 6 for me solely based on the CGI at the end of the movie,
they don't care anymore.
The whale scene was horrific. It was bad. I thought it was a fun movie. It's probably 10 minutes too long. It even says I think it's PG, but for some pretty freaky sequences, the scenes where the kids turn into donkeys, pretty freaky looking. I like it. It kind of had like a little Tim Burton feel in certain parts of the movie. But it's Tom Hanks. It's Robert Zeckers. I think it's the same guy who directed Forrest Gump. So it's on Disney Plus. It's free if you pay for a Disney Plus subscription. Go check it out. And then Craig, just like you, I watched my two teams, man. I watched Texas and Alabama, #1 streamed game between the NFL or Fox in history of Fox. But I guess they did what they were supposed to do. Maybe people say that they were going to get smoked by 20 or 30 points. They lost by a point.
At the last 33 seconds or so.
Last 33 seconds. I feel good. I think the program is finally going where they need to go. They took Alabama. We let them off the hook. They are who we thought they were.
Austin Powers, the International Man of Mystery was the other one I did watch.
Oh, nice.
That
is a movie, Ed.
That's the other one I did watch. I don't know. I just kind of spur of the moment looking around on streaming platforms, found it and was like, why not? Yeah. But man, that was probably the only game I've rooted for Texas like that. And I mean that I was watching constantly. I was refreshing and going to this Yahoo Sports and then going over to another one to see if maybe there was a difference or something. And man,
dude, that defense looked good. Defense looked real good. Nick Saban. So many people trash on Nick Saban, but at the end of that game, I don't know if it's just because I don't know if Alabama didn't show up to play. A lot of people have been saying that, but you know what? For the end of the game, Nick Saban to say, it felt like an on the road SEC defensive game. Pretty high compliments from Nick Saban.
Yeah, and I'll kind of jump in here now. Finally, I don't think everybody in the SEC, a lot of these people, a lot of these fans are saying, "Oh, Oklahoma this, Texas this. They're not ready to compete. They're not going to come in here and do what they need to do." Texas is on the rise, as we saw. I do think Alabama isn't as good of a team as they have been in the past. Their wide receivers are good, but they don't take the top off the defense speed, and I think that really limits what they want to do. But again, give credit to Texas. They flew around to the ball and they played like they were a top 10 team in the league. So
if it plays like that the whole year, I'm excited to see what they do.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like I talked trash about Quinn and all this other stuff, this, that, and the other, but he was out there, he was balling.
The biggest difference in that defense, Gary Patterson on the sideline.
Yeah.
Just that scheme, attacking the quarterback, stopping the run. And the offensive line for Texas, I was really surprised because
they're young.
The defensive end from Alabama, probably going #1 in the pick.
Will Anderson.
#1.
Yeah.
He was getting frustrated.
He cost himself some money. He'll make it back throughout the year. But in that game alone, if scouts were to go back and say, what did he look like against teams that he hasn't played before?
Yeah.
Which
Texas didn't have just him frustrated. They had that entire coaching staff and team frustrated.
And you can tell he was frustrated when he committed that 15-yard penalty.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing right there that kind of kicked them, too, is because that was the most penalties in the Saban era ever. As well as, man, so the dropped touchdown pass, man, that could have been, that could have been little bit that would have clinched.
Again, I kind of talked to Johnny about this beforehand. You never know what happens.
No.
If that touchdown is scored, does Alabama feel like they have to do something different? Do they take a deep shot?
Do they eat it? Do they come back and go the same kind of left for right?
It's always what if with football. There's no in basketball you can always say if we would have made this final shot. if we would have made this, you can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it was what it is.
So
Texas played their ass off and
Yeah.
gave the number one team, proved that we belong in the SEC, which we will probably be in next year, if I'm being honest, with all this movement happening.
And I got to admit, too, I was one of probably everybody on this podcast. I know this is a movie podcast. We're jumping out of the limb here, but at the end of the day, we're all football fans on here. And I'm like, dude, I wasn't giving Texas, Craig, I talked to you last week. I was like, man, if they lose by 15 or 10 points, that's a win in my book.
They got to show it.
You've got Alabama that smokes almost every team, by at least 20 points. If they're going to get, it's going to be Georgia or, something like that, which Georgia's another powerhouse this season, and they look better than Alabama for that matter. But, you've man, now you've got what? Quinn Ewers out with shoulder injury now?
A couple weeks. They said he's day to day. They said it's not as bad as they thought it was.
Well, that's good. But
and they got a bye week this week. They play a shit team
UTSA
this week.
Then a bye week.
So and then they come back with Texas Tech. So
which
but you know what? Let's
just
Carson Hud's he's not a chump.
Hudson Card.
Card Hudson. Same shit. He's a backup for a reason. But honestly, Matt Leiter said in the halftime show, just a few years ago, he was like number 5 on ESPN's top recruits. He's not a
slouch either.
He's not. Yeah,
he was hurt that game.
Yeah, he was hurt, and he almost still led the team to come back. So,
I mean,
speaking of hurt, I got to bring this up because it's pissing me off. Dak Prescott torn ligaments in his hand. He's out till November 13th. Mike McCarthy, I think if they go 0-4, he's terminated before October.
Absolutely.
The way he opened up
if they go 1-3, I think he gets fired.
The way he opened up last night by trying to match Tom Brady when they were running really good with Zeke, it's fucking stupid, and it really, really pissed me off. And I gotta throw a little rant out here because Zeke looked phenomenal. He was in shape, he was running the ball very good, and you know what? Even though they had some offensive line out, you're not going to outthrow Brady. I don't care how many weeks of training camp he missed. You're not going to outthrow him. So run the ball.
Especially with the weapons he had out there.
Yeah, run the ball. And you know what? Dallas was missing Nate Washington. They were missing some James Washington and somebody else.
Gallup.
Yeah, Michael Gallup. So they were missing like 2 or 3 receivers, and they were doing just fine running the football. I don't think Dak hurt his hand himself. I think Mike McCarthy and the offensive play call from Kellen Moore hurt Dak's hand. There's no way he should have.
That's another dude that needs to go. Kellen Moore needs to fucking be gone.
Yeah. So I had to throw that rant out there. I had to throw it out there. One more thing. If Mike McCarthy wants to save his job, he needs to get Jerry Jones to go trade for Jimmy Garoppolo today. Trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, because there's no way that Cooper, whatever the hell his name is,
Gold Rush,
he's not winning any division. And he's not playing great between now and November 13th. That's 2 months from tomorrow. No way he's winning. He'd be lucky if he goes 500.
Yeah.
Go get Jimmy G.
So what do y'all think about the rankings kind of right now? Do y'all think they're kind of, because honestly, let's be kind of real about that. 2019, no, and nothing against it, because obviously, like, they're coming back. Texas is probably the strongest it's looked in the past 6 years, easily, maybe 10. I'd say.
It's just week 3. I think rankings are still a little far fetched. When I saw Texas was moved up to 21, I'm like, you know what? No, leave us unranked.
But I mean, you've got the number 1 team who won by 1 point against an unranked team. I don't care who it is, and they just go down 1. Just because, Georgia's been blitzing people like that. Like, I don't know. That just, and understandably and 100% cool that, like, Notre Dame drops off the list.
Well, it's a second loss.
Yeah. No, third.
No,
that's the third.
They're
third in a row.
Third in a row.
Okay.
They're 0-2 this season.
Yeah.
Leave college football to the big dogs, Ed. CDR Electronics serves the OKC Metro with the best value for your electronics. Located at 1604 West I-240 Service Road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They have the biggest selection of physical media in the metro. Looking for NBA 2K23? They got you. Looking for Madden 23? They got you. Need a controller to whip your buddy's butt in Madden? They got you. Go check them out at 1604 West I-240 Service Road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Again, they pay the most for your electronics.
And we have a special guest, which I'm really, really hyped, really excited to talk about to Jai CURRIE, director from Australia. But before we get into that, guys, Craig, you have some truth.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah, so I got kind of some little bit of facts, a little bit of things you might not have known. So the movie is an adaptation of a 2004 short story with the same name, created by Joe Hill. I probably should have researched who that was, but yeah. In January of 2020, Derrickson came on board to helm the Black Phone soon after departing from the Doctor Strange sequel due to creative differences. So that paved the way for Sam Raimi to take over Doctor Strange. The script was written in just 6 weeks, and the film was shot in 33 days. When the father of Finney is shown reading the Rocky Mountain newspaper, the paper is printed in broadsheet style, which is incorrect for that time. In 1978, the newspaper was printed in tabloid format. And my final fact, which you may not have known, every method of escape that the kids on the phone tell Finney is used to fight off the grabber at the end. The hole, the cable, the freezer using to get the meat to get the dog away from the door, packing the phone with dirt, and even the padlock combination. So those are 5 things you may not have known.
Nice. Before we wait for our special guest to join the episode today, I'm also going to let you guys know about Friday the 14th podcast, UHD this week, in just a few nights. This Wednesday, September the 14th, me and the bad guy Nick H. A few months ago, we talked about Rob Zombie's Halloween. We're going to finish that conversation, and this Wednesday, we're talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So check out me and Nick's conversation this Wednesday night, 8 p.m. as we discuss Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But Ed, we also have another great sponsor to talk about.
Oh yeah. So OKC Soda Company, they are a craft soda company of Oklahoma. Super unique flavors like strawberry shortcake, blueberry acai, made with pure cane sugar and natural flavors. Basically with them, don't expect extreme amounts of sugar. Don't expect just copious amounts of, just the garbage that most other sodas put in there. As well as they are a soda experience. So get them at your local Crest, Pruitt Foods, Homeland, I think, as well.
Yep.
So, go out there, get you a 6-pack, try out a different experience. You might go ahead and end up liking them a lot.
Tasty.
Yeah. And before we get ready to get into our next segment, our next sponsor, guys, Red and Blues Pizza, located right here in Oklahoma City at 4500 South May Avenue in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Red and Blues Pizza. Give them a call at 405-602-2838. If you don't like pizza, they have a lot of other things as well. Hamburgers, fries, wings, gyros, everything that you can imagine. So check them out. Red and Blues Pizza. It's the only pizza place of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Also let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you, and we can probably, guys, get you a little discount on some Red and Blues Pizza. But before we get into it, guys, what about there's some other stuff at the D3. Indiana Jones 5 was talked about. Are you guys excited for anything like that, like Indiana Jones 5, some of that other stuff popping up?
Peter Pan and Wendy. That one kind of caught my eye. The Mufasa.
Mustafa.
Sorry, Austin Powers, Will Ferrell's character. But
let's talk about that for a little bit. We that's an episode that we talked about a few. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. We talked about what do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't mind it. I thought it was hilarious, man. I mean, I haven't seen it in probably as long, and yeah, I wouldn't mind doing those. I don't think we've really touched on Mike Myers as an actor much at all.
Oh, you guys missed out on a lot of stuff
on D3.
Yeah, I mean, so there's the Muppets Mayhem. It's an all-new comedy series. High School Musical, the series. We've kind of talked about that previously. There's a show coming out called American Born Chinese with Michelle Yeoh, Ben Wang, and Daniel Wu. Looks like that's coming out sometime later this year. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Looks like they're going to have all the original cast for that. The Santa Clauses is what that one's called. So the Santa Clauses with Tim Allen. National Treasure, Edge of History. Doesn't look like Nicolas Cage is going to be in it, but it might be something interesting to check out. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Zombies 3, which Adley has been watching repeatedly, literally like 5 times a day. So I've seen that one already. Under Wraps 2. Ed, we talked about that not too long ago.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Wow. I wonder if that's going to be kind of along the same lines with the same people from the original.
Hopefully, I mean, at least the main 3, and the mummy character,
Malachi Barton.
But guys, before we get into the top 5 segment, which is a fun and favorite segment that we usually get into, our special guest is here. Jai, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you see me?
No.
Cannot.
We can hear you pretty good though.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. Sure.
There is that settings tab. If you go in there and click camera, you might be able to choose the correct.
There you go.
How you going?
So, man, welcome.
Yeah,
I've been in contact with you for a few weeks now, but man, you're coming from a very, very long distance. This is a long distance conversation here, man. Let everybody know, all the listeners and viewers out there, where are you exactly?
So I'm coming from sunny Australia. I'm here in Sydney at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's our morning here. I believe it'd be later in the night for you guys. But yeah, thanks heaps for having me here. I really appreciate being on here. It's good to jump on and have a chat with you guys.
Yeah, man. Interesting and very, very fun. I'm excited. It's always fun to get different kind of film lovers, filmmakers on the show. We've had a local director here a few months ago. So we've had some people from Texas on. We're actually going to have an author from Texas join us next week. So, man, just a fun conversation to have you on. But kind of let everybody know, really what kind of just drove you into the love of like filmmaking, or what was one of your biggest reasons to join the business, man?
Yeah, so I started out doing a lot of still photography actually. So I like a lot of backpacking, traveling around the world, taking photos of people like on the streets, just homeless people or just interesting faces, and just sitting down and just talking to them and hearing their stories. And like I've traveled to more than 50 countries. So after just traveling all the time and meeting all these people, I just slowly just fell in love with storytelling and just hearing people's stories and sharing what I've sharing my stories, just like what I've experienced along my travels and stuff like that. Then just always loving movies, but the idea of like being a film director to me was like being an astronaut. It just seemed so far away. And I just thought, why not just have a crack at a short film, and made the short film, and then that ended up winning a bunch of awards. We won 11 international awards for that. The short film was Victim, and then it just felt a bit more like in arm's reach. I'm like, like this could become a lifestyle for me and a career, and I just kind of just got tunnel vision and just went straight into it. Wrote my feature film and directed that. That's available now over in America. I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen it. It's on Vudu, Amazon, Apple TV over there. So released it over there. I've had a big launch here in Australia on Stan Australia, which is like, it's kind of like the Netflix here in Australia, and we've been trending for the last 2 weeks, and everyone's been loving it. But just the passion I have for just storytelling, I guess, and doing it through the medium of film is just, I think it's the best. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I'm glad that you sent out that link. I'm also going to send out links to the film this week too, because I look at it this way, man. Like, I think it would be fun for us to maybe even dedicate an entire episode to the movie, and for us to go out there and just check it out, watch it.
Sure.
Earlier this year, we had a stream kind of segment called "Pardon the Pandemic." You said your short film Victim was released right around 2020. So how did the pandemic, man, affect you where you're at? I know it affected everybody differently, but I've had some filmmakers say, it affected me in a positive way because I couldn't go anywhere, so I was just able to have so much creative stuff and write out what I wanted. Did it kind of affect you the same way, or was it different?
So, like, I'm not sure how it was over there, but we had like waves of it. So it would be like everything was locked down, you couldn't go anywhere. And then like a few months later, like things were opening back up and we could start going out and living again. And then before we know it, it's like we're all back in lockdown and we're stuck back in the houses. So with the short film, we shot that in like 3 days, a minimal crew, and it was all indoors. So like technically we couldn't get shut down anyways. It was around domestic violence. It was all shot in the one house. And so it didn't affect us too much with that. But with the feature film, it affected us in a real positive way, because same thing, there was a gap where it opened up for about 5 months, and everyone was out filming and getting everything ready. We were in pre-production in that phase, and just as we started shooting, we're going into a 30-day production, all the restrictions started coming back, and everyone was checking the news every day, and it was we're like, oh, here we go, we're gonna get shut down. So we ended up just making the production a lot quicker, shot it in 15 days, and it was, I think, like a day or two straight after we finished, we were all completely in lockdown. It benefited us because then we could go straight into just post, and we could all just do that remotely from home. So we set up on Premiere has production, so you can have like 5 people editing remotely from wherever they are, and we just chipped into the post production just while everything was in lockdown. So definitely, yeah, it helped us in that sense. But the film would have turned out different if we could have had the full time of production that we had scheduled. But we made do with what we had.
What's probably one of the best parts? And some of these questions are from one of our guys, Zach, who couldn't be with us today. But what's one of the best parts about being a film director that you've been able to just share and witness? What kind of fulfilling is it at the end of the day sometimes?
I guess the thing with me is like my mind, and like everyone that loves movies would agree with this. You have these ideas, or you'll be watching a movie and you think, oh, I wish they'd done that, or I wish, why'd the story go that way? Why couldn't it do this? And obviously sometimes there's restrictions around that, or resources, budget, time. But having the control of that on my own story, like creating that my own world in a sense, and having like the whole team and all the actors and everyone be a part of it and be like, that's great and that's what we're doing. That feeling of just being able to write the story however I want, create the world however I want, like that freedom of creativity to me is just, I think that's what I'm addicted to with it.
Man, what about getting the movie like promoted in the United States in general? Like, was it hard, to get it promoted and put on like stuff like Apple TV, Vudu, or was it no different than Because I mean, looking at some of the reviews, man, the reviews are outstanding for Beat. Like, you have to be pretty proud of most of the reviews out here, man. Like, I see nothing but tens and nines and eights. IMDb ratings even giving it an 8.8. Like, that has to make you feel just like super super special, man. And I could just imagine how you feel right now.
Yeah, it's the like the audience response so far has just been incredible. I guess getting it distributed in the States was, believe it or not, it was easier than doing it here in Australia. So
Really?
yeah, we reached out to 2 distribution companies, and we were signed with one of them, which was Gravitas Ventures. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. And they're handling the rights to North America for us, so all through Canada and America. And we got that deal done within like a few weeks, and it took us like, I'll probably say 6 months here in Australia. So being like a first-time film director, it's hard for people to take you serious, because like a lot of directors are like in their 40s, or they've been in the industry for so long. They've got so many contacts, and they've already got that status about them. So like, I'm not sure. This is just an assumption, but like, just from what I found, like reaching out to people, it was hard for them to kind of take it serious. Like, even though the short film won a lot of awards, and that, but even like, I just feel like just have a conversation with me and talk about cinema as just in general, and like talk about like what do you think makes a good movie, and what do I think makes a good movie, and they might be able to understand like, oh, like there's a lot of passion. Like, he's watched a lot of films and he does understand the medium, and it just wouldn't even get to that place. It was just like, oh yeah, cool, just send it here, and then like you'd hear nothing. So we're so stoked that, I think the biggest thing is we're just stoked that we ended up cracking it. Australia's now watching it, and like, we've been trending here nationwide for like the last 14 days, which is huge. They released like 25 titles this month, and we've just sat at the top the entire time. So the feedback's ridiculous. Yeah, we're so stoked with everything.
So I see on IMDb has the September 1st release date for Australia. Is that on stream only, or do you guys get to put it in theaters as well?
No, we done we had a Q&A screening earlier in the year. So that was just over 2 days. We had like over 1,000 people come out to that. So it was like a sellout, which was great.
Nice.
And just kind of like, we had it at Event Cinemas, it's one of the cinemas in my hometown, and showed the screen, like screened the film, and everyone could meet the actors and talk for myself, and we just kind of just released it that way. But then if you didn't make it, you didn't see it, basically. And like, we've got a lot of it was shot here in our hometown in Newcastle, but we're about 2 hours away from Sydney, where I'm living at the moment. And Sydney's got like a population of 6 million people, so obviously no one there got to see it. So everyone's been waiting for it to come out on Stan, or just anywhere. But now it's out on Stan, everyone's been able to watch it. So it's been and like I said, 7 months. So it's been like this long wait and build up for everyone to finally see it. But no, it's going well.
Man.
I was meant to watch Black Phone. I thought it was out on a streaming service though, and I was like, oh no, I'll check it out. I'll watch it, and then I've looked. It's not out. It's still in the cinemas. So I should have went before. Sorry about that.
Go ahead, Craig.
I was gonna say it's out here for us to stream here. So I don't know, like how they, the international. Like, you guys can get it this date and can put it on streaming this date or whatever.
What streaming service is it on?
It's on Peacock here.
Peacock. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So you said, you kind of started out as a still photographer. What was there like a moment in your head where you just like, I want to start doing motion pictures and not just still photography? What was there like a story that somebody told you where you connected with them that made it click and you were like, this is pushing me towards the motion picture direction?
Yeah, it was really funny. I remember seeing somewhere they were like, if you might have read a quote or something, and it was like, if you're struggling to find yourself, go and travel. And at the time, I was in a really weird place where I felt like I had to have a career, and all the careers that just kind of just come to the forefront of my mind just honestly just bored me. And I was like, I just don't want to do any of that. I don't like a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to be laboring. I don't want to be. I just didn't know what to do. Like, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with them jobs, but just to me, like, it just wasn't my purpose. And then, like, I've always loved sports, so I'd just be like madly thinking about sports and being obsessed with that. And I'm like, why can't I have that with a career? And I guess I kind of just got I got to that place where I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to go and just travel and just maybe just figure it out. I might just think of something. And every time I traveled, I would spend my time just photographing people, and I realized how much I loved that. And I remember I think about a lot of things in scenarios. So, like, I'll meet someone or I'll talk about something, and then it starts just talking about it as in a scenario that never happened. And I just photographing people and realizing that, I think it just slowly turned into, like, if I take a picture of someone's of someone, and there's this one in particular. I was in Nepal, and there was this homeless lady, and her face says 1,000 words. Like, you see the photo and you think, like, what type of life has she had? But to me, the photo, it done it justice, but it can never as well. And I'm like, you need more time to actually tell this story. Yeah. And then I just started wanting to just do like little interviews or just like just more of it. Like how can I get more of it out than the photo? So it just slowly evolved from there, I guess. Like, I always loved movies for as far as I can remember, but for me, like, take on that to change that mindset to go, okay, now this is it. I think it just happened, just slowly evolved.
Yeah, you're the drive to know, you know, like you see that one still shot, but the drive to find out everything more about, like, how this picture got to be this picture, I think is pretty cool to, like, in my own words, like, is how I'm putting it, but that's pretty cool to kind of think about it that way and then kind of dive into it and then want to tell a story. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's also like I look back at some of my travel photos, and I think, where are they now? What's happening now? Like, they're somewhere in the world. What's happening? And it's like I can create that story if I want through film.
Yeah.
And just having that freedom. I love movies that are constantly unfolding. Like, one of my favorite movies is Parasite, and it's just like when you're watching it and you just get that that halfway mark where that doorbell rings, and the old housewife comes back, like the cleaner comes back. Like, I reckon you could press pause for someone that hadn't seen it and say, write down 1,000 things right now that you think's going to happen, and no one would guess it. As it unfolds, just in that way, to me, I'm like, the writer has the creativity and the freedom to just do that because he can. And I just love that idea of, like, I love wondering, like, what if, like,
yeah,
where are these people now? What have they been through? Could they go through this? I don't know. Like, let's just play with the idea of it. It's just so fun.
Yeah,
that's
really cool.
Yeah, that's a really good exercise too. Like, in a perfect movie to use that example for. So, whether it's local for you or international, who's one famous actor or actress that you would maybe want to collaborate with one day? You have anybody
Jessie
that's
Buckley.
on?
I want Jessie Buckley to be. I'd love to work with her. I think she's an incredible actress. I'm actually going to reach out to her for my next film.
Nice.
But there's such a big list. Obviously, like, there's a lot of really, really, really well-known actors and actresses that I'd love to. But I love the films that Jess is in, and just her style of acting. I think. Yeah, I'm really hopeful I'll be able to work with her one day for sure. And for people that don't know her, she's in I think one of the first like indie films was Beast. She'd done a lot of theater acting. She was just in The Lost Daughter that was nominated for an Oscar. She played the younger version of the lead. Every time you'd see the flashback, it was Jessie Buckley that we seen. She was just in Men, the lead in that. So,
have you seen Men?
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, we just did an episode on it not too long ago.
What do you think?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Say the least.
Well, let's talk about it. It was an episode a few weeks. We kind of did some roundabouts to what we thought maybe the ending, what the director was trying to say at the end. You being a film director and a writer, man, what did you think the director was obviously trying to say at the end of Men?
It took me a bit to get my head around that, to be honest. I was halfway through the film and I only just realised all the men were played by the same actor, because I try not to watch trailers or read into films. I love going in cold,
right?
And I thought it was just so clever how they portrayed that. But yeah, I don't know. It was a hard one to. It was a hard one to digest. I've got it on my list. I want to watch it again. Like I love all these films. So
she Jessie Buckley did amazing in the movie. I kind of felt like maybe the director was trying to put his own spin on an Adam and Eve kind of story.
Oh, definitely, with like forbidden fruit and
yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting to see exactly what his words are. You know, like my vision was this. It would be interesting to see that, because we spent 20 or 30 minutes trying to digest and figure out what exactly we thought he was trying to portray. And I think that's also the beauty of filmmaking, is you can portray something and people can take it as they see it. You know, if the way he told the story, we took it as one way and it might be something completely different. The ability to influence people, the ability to touch people emotionally and just have them feel something in that moment, I think is something when you realize that, you know, your movie is, you know, helping people in a moment of maybe, I don't want to say weakness, but in a moment where they need something like that's, I think that's incredible.
Yeah. And I think leaving it open and up to the audience's interpretation is fun. Like, to not tie a bow on it, like leave it open and just let people like talk about it and figure it out. And like, was he trying to portray that because she ate that apple at the start, this is how like everything unfolds, and the men then started being in her life in that sense. If she didn't, would things be differently? I like how they cross-cutted it with the past story with a partner, though. I think that was really well done, and like they slowly just drip-fed more and more information of that throughout. So
yeah,
I really liked it. It got a bit. I was so shocked when they started birthing them. I was not ready for that.
Same.
Yeah. I was like, far out. But yeah, no, it was good.
So I just have one more before, you know, I know you're a busy guy, before we let you get on with your morning. Because it's like, what is it? It's like 10 o'clock in the morning over there.
Noon, I think.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. It's like noon.
Oh man. So what is one of your like, where do you want to see Beat go from here? Like, you know, it's got the release, it's available here in the US to watch. What is your ultimate goal now for this film? Like, you know, we were just talking a few minutes ago, award season is in full swing. I know you got some really good buzz on this movie, some really great reviews. Where would you like to see Beat go from here?
Yeah, so we've won a few awards for the film so far, and we've been in some like pretty prestigious film festivals, so some in Canada and stuff. Though at the moment, I think I just because it's out now, I just want as many people as we can to watch it. Everyone put so much hard work and effort into it, and it's like an independent film. Like, we didn't have a mega budget. Like I said, we shot it in 15 days, and but everyone's just still so proud of it. There's a lot of first-time filmmakers, and we just want to just get it out now. I guess show as many people as we can. And like I've just finished the script to my next film. I'll be going through the next draft of that soon, and I'm hoping that beat kind of can create an audience that goes, "What's next?" And just as they're figuring that out, we're in pre-production or production for the next movie, and can just start that career moving forward now. Like I just want to pump out as many movies as I can, and yeah, like that's the dream, I guess, is just to get it out there now and let people. There's a lot of like hidden messages. The biggest thing that probably the biggest thing that we're receiving from audiences is the second time they watch it, they pick up so much more than the third time they pick up. It's the same. There are a lot of things embedded in it. The more times they watch it, the more they're understanding the story and connecting the dots that they didn't kind of get the first time. So, I'm hoping that people can just start appreciating like the techniques of filmmaking that we've put into it and go, oh shit, I can't wait to see what he puts in the next one.
Yeah,
it's almost like watching a magician, for that matter. The first time you're watching the trick at its full face, and you don't know exactly what to expect, but that second or third or fourth time you watch the act, you're like, I already know he's going to do the fireball with, and all that. You watch exactly what they're doing behind them or under, and you kind of, some people get those different reactions of like, or different watches of where they do, their little tricks or the sleight of hand that they've worked so long on or anything like that. So different things like that is really cool with film.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like Nolan's the perfect example of that. You're gonna watch, especially with Tenet.
Yes,
you're gonna watch that a few times to get your head around it. But
yeah,
no, it's great.
And I think that's important for rewatchability. You don't want to put something out where people are like, I know what the movie is, I know the premise, I know the plot, I know the ending.
Yeah.
There's nothing else for me there. But having it layered to where when they see something later on in the story, maybe they're like, that referenced back to the early parts, and then when they rewatch it again, they recognize they missed so many things. I think having it layered like that and having so many hidden things, not purposefully, but just in there and people kind of recognize it, I think that helps. We kind of base movies off of rewatchability, and having that rewatchability, I think not only, obviously it's going to get more views, but it's going to draw people in to see what you're kind of digging in deeper and telling in the story and the way that you're telling the story and how you're shooting it. And I think that all kind of helps you in the long run.
Definitely. Yeah. And like the thing that I think we've done well is because the story's driven around classical music, is even if they were just to watch it again, there's just these beautiful piano pieces that people can just kind of, it's still engaging, but it kind of gives the audience like that moment to like rest and recoup and process what they've just watched, get ready for like the next little segment. So it's kind of set up like Ex Machina, how they go into they'll go into the interviews and he would sit there and interview with her and then come out, and then you can process that and the story's happening, but then you're getting ready for that next time he goes in and engages with her. The piano pieces are kind of like set up in a similar sense. So you would we're following the story, and the two worlds are kind of merging as one, and there's the psychological element. So you're trying to connect, like how are they connected? What's going on here? And then we go into a beautiful piano piece, and we can just watch just like this piano song. Like we wrote all the piano songs ourselves, so we worked with a pianist in France, and but then I think that just helps with just the general engagement of the entire film. And to watch that again the second time, like a murder mystery, you'd be like, oh, well, I know he done that. So like all the fun's taken out of it. At least there's still them fun elements of just watching the like a music clip kind of halfway through a movie, but it happens multiple times. So
You had me at Ex Machina.
Yeah.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
So we know it's available for streaming, and I'll if you guys want to check out the movie, it's available now to stream, rent, and buy. I believe on Apple TV, iTunes, Vudu, Amazon here in the U.S. But if you see behind me, I'm a huge physical media guy. Is there any plans to release Beat on physical media?
Yeah, they're going to put it. I think they're going to do it on Blu-ray and get it all through Walmart.
Nice.
Haven't heard any further details about it yet, but that was definitely a push they were going to do. I know they were going to set it up that people can buy the Blu-ray disc straight from Amazon.
Awesome.
And I know they'll trying to get deals done through Walmart too. So I'll just touch base with you and let you know about that anyways. But,
for sure. I have a region-free Blu-ray player, and I am all for physical media, man. And you know what? I think that would be the coolest thing ever to see and get your movie on physical media. I'm definitely going to be checking out Beat this weekend, man. And I'm going to stay in contact. I appreciate you wanting to come on the show, and I think it was a hell of a fun conversation. And I would like to review the film one day, put it on episode, and get you to come in and talk about the entire hour and like 45-minute movie and just talk about the whole movie with us one day.
Fantastic. Anytime you boys let me know. It's been great being on here, Ray. Thanks heaps.
Yeah, for sure. Before we let you out of here, man, today we're talking our top 5 Ethan Hawke movies. Do you have a favorite Ethan Hawke movie?
Oh, no.
No?
Nah.
Not an Ethan Hawke fan, or just
probably not a fan, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Understandable.
What about yours? Tell me yours.
I'll give a few of mine. If I had to recommend anything to watch that came out this year, I would recommend The Northman. Especially if you're an A24 fan and if you like movies like Men or The Green Knight, I think The Northman would be a fun film to watch. He's not in it very long, so if you're not an Ethan Hawke fan, he's only in it for like 15 minutes. But
yeah, I seen The Northman. I don't know about you guys. It was hyped up so much here.
It was
so much.
Yeah.
So much. And I really did. I really did like it, except I just wanted so much more from it.
Yeah.
I was expecting.
Yep.
I think the one thing that was missing was A24.
Yeah. Yeah. A24. Like, I don't think they've ever done a bad movie. So
they're all unique. I don't know. They may not be bad, but they're definitely all unique.
Yeah. Yep. I love them. If they're listening right now, I'll be their next director.
Yeah, we need to get that trending. We need to somebody tag A24. Yeah. The next director is right here on the show, guys. Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, I mean, with all these reviews, putting it at 8.8, you keep that going, you'll be there in no time. Yeah. I mean, it's, and I mean, for your first full length feature film to be getting pretty much an average rating of 9. That's something special, man, and I applaud you on that. Like, I went to college for film, and I kind of have that drive to want to edit and do all that stuff, and I'm just at a spot where it's tough for me. It's kind of time consuming, and I'm not able to fully dive into it. And I applaud you for taking that leap. That's something that I definitely wish I could have done.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, man. Like I said, it's been great. I'm glad that you got to come on and hang out, talk movies with us. For sure, I'd love to have you on again. I'll keep in touch. We'll work something out. And checking out Beat this weekend, guys. Again, if you want to watch Beat, Apple TV, iTunes, Vudu, Amazon, here in the States, go check it out. Email us. Let us know what you guys think. Jai, I appreciate you being on, man. And if there's anything else we can do, man, let us know. I'll keep in contact, man. You have a good rest of your day, buddy.
Thanks, boys. I appreciate having me.
First, do you have any social media you want to plug, or anything that you want to plug?
So my socials are just Jai Currie, JYECURRIE, and the production company's Green Frog Productions. And we've just done like a short little documentary on mental health and suicide prevention here. So we're always working on little things. But we just regarding everything around the film, where it's available, and all the latest news we push on there too. So that'd be great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, boys. I really appreciate your time. Hey.
No, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
No problem, man.
Thank you.
I'll chat to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Thanks.
Have a good.
All right, man. So, man, what an interesting story, man. What a fun conversation, dude. Just it's always great to have somebody come on and talk movies. But when you have, Craig, like you said, an average of a 9 on IMDb for your first feature-length film, what a fun conversation it was. And I honestly can't wait to have Jai back on.
Man, see, he answered one of the questions I was going to ask, as in the pieces of music he used, which he actually got into a French pianist, and they made their own basically. So
Yeah,
that was amazing. Right, I think that's
having
awesome.
something like that is, because it could have been just something that he threw in there that's any old regular piece of music, but taking the time to actually get his own original pieces. I mean, would you consider it a score at that point?
Yeah. I mean, it was probably a little lighter too on the budget for him to create maybe his own. That would have been another fun conversation to bring up, maybe the budget and stuff. But again, we'll save some of that for whenever we talk about the movie beat and have him on the episode to talk about the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I know we're running a little girthy today, but it's the start of a new year. It's the start of season 5. It's the start of horror season, and let's start the top 5. All right, guys, we are talking the top 5. Is it our fun and most favorite and sacred segment of the entire episode? Today, since we're talking the Black Phone, Mr. Ethan Hawke is not with us, but we are talking our top 5 Ethan Hawke movies. I have some honorable mentions that I'm going to run through. If anybody else has some, they can follow. My honorable mentions are going to be Gattaca, Magnificent Seven, Kid, The Northman, which I mentioned to Jai. So, and that's the official honorable mention is going to be Sinister. Does anybody else have any?
No.
Number 5.
5.
I'll start off with number 5 if you guys still want to go through some of your lists and see what's going on. Number 5 for me is going to be another horror movie. This one started a franchise. This is going to be 2013's The Purge. Hour and 20-minute movie. It's a very, very interesting concept. If you haven't seen The Purge, a lot of horror movies aren't for everybody, but today starts horror season for us, man. I'm excited to talk about the Black Phone, but it's The Purge. One night a year that all crime and murder is legal for 12 hours?
12 hours.
Yeah, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And you know what? I think it's an interesting concept. Have they overdone it yet? I don't think so.
It's debatable.
Yeah, because each one is maybe a little different, but that's at least the original for me. Ethan Hawke, number 5, The Purge from 2013. Craig, we'll go off with you. Number 5 for you.
I'm going to piggyback off of you. The Purge. Like you said, the concept was original. The movie was unique. And like you said, did they go off a little too far? It's debatable, but they all kind of have their own flavor. But man, just that first time that you hear those bells going off in that movie, or those sirens, you're just like, okay, what exactly are we going to see in these 12-hour periods?
Stop playing with your pussies. I hear them in the background.
Cats. Kitty cats.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, number 5 for me is The Purge.
Purge as well. Edward, number 5 for you.
Number 5, I'm going to go ahead and put The Northman.
Oh, yes.
I liked it. Thought it was kind of a cool, take. If you haven't seen this one, I recommend it. I do kind of feel, however, like Jai is right. There was something just like you wanted more. I will agree with that, but yeah, other than that, like
this was missing.
Hey, other than that, I feel like it was a very good film. I liked it. So yeah, The Northman.
Number 4.
4.
Number 4 for me is going to be from 2019, a sci-fi horror movie based in the year 2019 when a plague has transformed everybody into a vampire. I'm talking about Daybreakers, starring Ethan Hawke, Sam Neill, And Willem Dafoe, man, you know what? I feel like this movie is a little underrated. And I use that word a lot, but I really do think this movie is kind of forgotten about because you have vampires who live on the way they're supposed to live by, packs of blood and, stuff like that. Then you got vampires who are like still want to kill for their blood. So I think it was a very interesting concept. It was something that I hadn't seen up until that point, and I still don't think we've seen anything from it to this day. So number 4 for me, man, I think would make for a great conversation one day. Number 4 is Daybreakers from 2009. Craig, what about you? Number 4?
Number 4 for me is going to be Sinister. Washed up true crime writer Ellison Oswalt finds a box of Super 8 home movies in his new home, revealing that the murder he is currently researching is the work of a serial killer whose legacy dates back to the 1960s. Starring Ethan Hawke, Juliet Rylance. Man, just when this came out in 2012, it was up there. It was really creepy as a first time watch. I think Ethan Hawke had a good role in it, and it's just one of the movies that's kind of like, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. I think it does just enough to get the job done.
Nice. Edward, number 4 for you.
Gonna trail off of Sinister for that matter. I'm gonna agree. I personally didn't think it was the best I'd ever seen. It was nowhere near anything worse for that matter. I like the depictions though. The thought of kind of the move into the house. So I mean, haunting in Connecticut. Amityville Horror. That it's already a haunted house basically, and different stuff like that. So you're thinking it's that when it's really after the kids. And I mean the imageries that it uses for that matter, the tree, the face, the one scene that really stuck out to me the most was the face in the hedges, I guess, or the tree line or whatever you want to call it. That was one of the ones that stuck out to me the most, just because like if you're not looking correctly, somewhat you don't catch it, and it's little things like that you don't catch throughout a few things, but then they make it very oblivious or obvious. Yes, thank you. Very obvious that it's there or doing something that's, like the title suggests, sinister. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, man, I don't know where you've been. So
number 3.
Free.
We talked about it earlier this year. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Number 3 for me is going to be Training Day. Craig, number 3 for you?
Number 3 for me is going to be the movie we are talking about today, The Black Phone.
Oh, nice. Edward, number 3 for you?
Magnificent Seven.
Nice.
Just kind of a great all-around.
We'll keep it short and sweet because I think we're going to talk about it in November.
Little shooter up, shoot 'em up, and all that. I mean, Chris Pratt, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke got 3 big ones right there. So, yeah.
Yep. Number 2. Number 2 for me is going to be an A24 film. Number 2 for me is going to be First Reformed. Ethan Hawke plays Reverend Ernest Toller. And let's just say some weird things start happening as a minister of a small congregation up in upstate New York grapples with a mounting of a despair brought upon a tragedy. And I think, it's a fun, real slow movie. It's written and directed by Paul Schrader. But Ethan Hawke delivers an outstanding performance, and it's one of my favorite movies that he's ever done. So number 2 is First Reformed for me from 2017. Craig, number 2 for you?
Ed, did you mention Denzel in Magnificent Seven?
He did.
Okay, I was going to say, how do you
That's
not
what I was
mention...
like, what?
Okay. Number 2 for me is going to be Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I said Chris Pratt, Denzel Washington, and Ethan Hawke.
That's why, because you're supposed to always start with Denzel first.
Yeah. That's where you. I was like, I heard Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, hold on. I think Ethan benefits from the tremendous cast in this movie. But it is, and it's a good film in my eyes. I went and saw it with my family. It's a solid Western. I don't think it's one of the best, but it is solid. So that's my number 2.
We'll definitely give it a star rating and talk about it in just a few weeks when we kick off Denzel month in November. Number 2 for you, Edward.
Number 2 for me would be The Purge, 2013. I mean, the original concept, the freshness of it, I guess, as well as just the idea of let's make anything legal, kind of thing was just kind of a cool thing. And I mean, yeah, it has gone off the rails for that matter, but with this first movie, I was in high hopes for the rest of it. So yeah, man, The Purge plays the father. Simple.
1.
Number 1 for me is going to be kind of a tie, just because these movies are all tremendous. I give them all 8s, or honestly, I give them all 9s and 10s. The first is, I'm going to state the Before trilogy, Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, Before Midnight. Those 3 movies that he's in, and I think it's the other way around. The first one is Before Sunrise, the second one is Before Sunset, and the third one is Before Midnight. 3 movies about 2 people who fall in love, and there's 3 movies based upon those 2 characters. That's my number 1A or 1B. Number 1A is going to be Boyhood. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but the movie, literally the director, Richard Linklater and Ethan Hawke, the entire cast, it's about the life of Mason from early stages of childhood to teenage years to college years. And the movie takes place within 12 years. Like, they literally filmed the movie in the 90s, the middle 2000s, and then I think they finish up in 2014. So the movie did film in a span of 12 years. So when you're like, dang, how did they make Ethan Hawke look so young? It's because they filmed in the 90s. You don't get that with too many movies nowadays. And the deliverance, the performances from everybody, the aging of everybody, everything was just fantastic. It's available on AMC Plus. It's number 1 for a reason for me. It is 2 hours and 45 minutes, but guys, it's a tremendous story. It's a one-of-a-kind movie, never to be duplicated or replicated since. And Ethan Hawke is fantastic in this movie. So number 1 for me, Boyhood. Craig?
I can't believe that slipped past my list. I agree with you. It's movies are never done like that because they don't want to take the chance of filming for 3 years and then something happening to one of the cast members. So I agree with you. It's in today's day and age, you probably could, but it would have to be, if you ever ran into that, it would have to be CGI'd. But for that movie to be as smooth and fluid as it was, with no CGI or any replacements, that takes a lot of luck and good directing.
A lot of skill.
My number 1 is going to be Training Day. We just talked about it the other day. I think him with Denzel, he has to take it to another level because Denzel forces him to do so. And in doing that, you get one of the greatest movies of all time. So Training Day, my number 1.
Ed, number 1 for you?
Number 1 for me, honestly, I know it's going to be kind of, breaking my usual rule, but The Black Phone. We will talk about it, simple as that. But this one kind of, when I realized what movies I have and haven't seen of his, for that matter,
there's a lot I haven't seen. I realized that,
and I kind of didn't really think that Dead Poets Society was fair to put in here, just because.
Oh, dude, he's one of the main characters.
No, I know, but I didn't realize that when the last time I've seen that, I didn't realize that. So I didn't really feel it was fair for me to put that in here. So I'm going to go ahead and if anybody's wondering that's why. But yeah, I'm going to put The Black Phone. We're going to get into it. So yeah, simple.
Nice. Let us know, guys, what your favorite Ethan Hawke movie is, or your top 5 Ethan Hawke movies, and we will share it next week on the episode. But today, that's what we're getting into. We're talking about The Black Phone. You can check it out now on Peacock or check it out on physical media wherever you buy Blu-rays. IMDb has it at a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes at 82%. The Metascore is at 65%, while the Google users have it at 89%. The budget was $16 million, and it grossed a little over $160 million at the box office, with a release date of June 24th, 2022, starring Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Ethan Hawke, Jeremy Davis, James Ransone, and directed by Scott Derrickson. After being abducted by a child killer and locked in a soundproof basement, a 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims. Hashtag, if you have not seen this movie, go check it out. It's on Peacock. We're at an hour and 25 minutes. It's been out for a while, though, so go check it out. Pause, go check it out on Peacock. Come back, listen to the episode. Let's get into it, guys. This movie, like I said, it had a June 24th, 2022 theater release date here in the States. Was this everybody's first time view of Black Phone? Craig, we'll start with you. Yeah?
Yeah. It was my first time watch for this episode.
Short few word, one or two. What was it like when you finished it? This was a movie we kind of hyped it when it first came out.
Not what I expected.
Right.
I'll leave it at that.
Ed, a few short word, one or two.
Refreshing.
Like some Sprite.
Crispy.
if I had to say what I thought as soon as the Black Phone was when it was over, I would say good, but not what I expected.
Misleading.
Misleading's a good one. But we'll get into it. You know what? The opening scene, you start with the baseball game. Bruce gets abducted, but the way he gets abducted is very, very interesting. You start up with a high beat 70s song. Movie takes place 1978, and you know what? That's it. You see the black van, and the happy-go-lucky music turns from happy to what the hell's going on, and then you get the opening sequences of the kids getting abducted. One thing that's always eerie, no matter what you're watching, or whether it's news, movie, TV, one of the sickest things that you could possibly imagine is the abduction and the killing of a young child. The movie, very unsettling. I don't know what it is about child abduction or child killers, whether it be true Hollywood stories, documentaries, movies, almost kind of an unsettling thing no matter what you're watching. What do you guys think about, just the attention span of the movie basing itself around a 70s child abduction? Actually, I heard that the movie was, a lot of the stories and time frame was based upon John Wayne Gacy's abductions in the 70s. But again, this movie has no, it's not based on any real events.
Correlation.
Right. So what do you think? I mean, the movie just opening up with the dark scenes of the title Black Phone, and it starts off being what you think is just a movie about a guy abducting children. And Craig, go ahead and explain kind of why you felt like it was misleading.
Well, first off, I didn't watch any. I watched like the teaser, so I didn't watch any trailers. And I think in the teaser, it didn't show like really what the movie was about. It just kind of showed him in the mask and some kids kind of doing some stuff. It was misleading to me because the premise of the movie, I didn't think the kid was going to be sixth sensing it up, right? Like
no, exactly same.
Seeing
same
dead people, and it was a turn. Now, some people might have liked it. I think it kind of made the movie a little unbelievable, especially with the daughter being able to dream and have premonitions, and the mother went crazy, and
it had a really good foundation of what felt like an eerie, creepy movie. But then I do kind of have to agree with you. I don't know why it went from a horror film to a psychological phenom ghost story. Yeah. Like he's seeing dead people. The dead people were talking to him through the Black Phone. I get it. I get it for its originality, but it just kind of it was a little different. I mean, not in a bad way, but also in just a unique kind of way, I guess. But a uniqueness that I wasn't ready for.
Not necessarily ready for. Just Man, it was just like I was just expecting Ethan Hawke to just be this flat out malicious killer, which he kind of is. You see spurts of it, but he's feeding the boy. He's doing everything he can, and he's like, I'm trying to play the game. And the boy's like, the boy doesn't understand what he's doing, and so like,
well, because that's part of his get off for that matter, and I mean it's kind of explained by one of the dead boys for that matter, since we've already released that if you go up the stairs it's going to be naughty boy,
right? And then that's the second phase.
Yeah, and he's like, what? And I mean, he doesn't go around the corner to see him, sitting there shirtless with a belt and all that. But, that was truly kind of a creepy thing right there. Cause it's just like, okay, what is this dude going to just strap him till he dies? Like, is this how this kid died?
I wish they would have shown one instance of him really just going over the edge with one of the kids.
So I agree with you. I do agree that I feel like you don't see him physically abduct really anybody other than
Finney.
No, yeah, you see him fully abduct Finney. You barely see him get out of the vehicle when he abducts
Bryce.
Robin.
Oh, wow.
That's the one thing I do wish you did see. I do, and I know this sounds brutal and grotesque.
It does, yes.
But I do wish you saw him kill a victim.
I mean,
and not necessarily maybe kill, but I do wish you saw him in that grotesque way of maybe putting somebody in the hole, burying them, just doing something unsettling.
And you don't even have to see the actual killing take place. Just from behind, you just see him doing something. And
well, I mean, honestly, I think him versus the Vance character, the like 80s style rocker kid that was the big bully, I think that would have been a heck of it. Because, I mean, the wrong dude looks like he is probably a second-year senior or something like that. I mean, dude's probably 19, 20 already. So maybe that would have been the best square off right there.
Well, I don't need to see a best square off. If anything, I want to see him take advantage of. I want to see him take advantage of Bruce, a smaller kid who's riding his bike home from a baseball game. Or I want to see. You know what they made? They made Robin.
Kid.
They made Robin look kind of vicious, beating the hell out of Moose. I would have taken him, abducting and doing some more harm to Robin. I feel like this movie just had more loose ends.
More psychological than anything.
Than it did anything.
And I don't like, yes, the psychological would have been good. Just give me one instance, because when he finally catches, I know we're kind of jumping through everything, but when he finally catches Finney leave the house and he catches him and he's like, "You're a naughty boy," and then starts beating. I wanted to see more of that, because throughout the movie, I feel like Ethan Hawke's character was too playful, too childlike.
Yeah.
And I was literally about to say that word. Too playful, too childlike. It's like he's
playing a game.
Well, not only, it's like he was a child that grew up and didn't fully become an adult. He's still a child that might have been bullied.
I got Johnny Depp vibes from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, I mean, because you got to look at the brother too, because the brother is literally right there in the same exact house, doesn't suspect a thing.
Well, that's another thing.
Well, it's in this area, but like, man, he's it's just like, okay, dude, no, he's not in the area. He's in in the house.
I would understand that concept of how he got away with it if the burials and the captures were in the other house. But having the burials in the same house with his brother while the other kids were captured across the street.
No, you've got it reversed.
No.
The captures are at the house that they're living at. The burials are in the house that's empty across the street with the fence around it.
Yeah. The burials are at the empty house.
Because she has visions of 7441, which is the house that they go to, and she leads them to. But that is a completely similar like
because
copycat.
remember the cops go in the house and they're like it's empty, and then they go downstairs and see the holes,
the
and
five
graves. They're like, this
graves.
is where the kids were buried, and then the police show up and they get the ambulances and they start digging out the bodies. And then
the brother comes downstairs and he hits him with the axe. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
so
like, you got to coke that brother talking about CSI. Like, what's the meme where the dude's looking at it from Always Sunny? Like, it's just it was a little too much for
honestly
it to be believable.
Aliens.
It was a little too much to be believable.
I can agree and see that at some points. Since we are kind of going all over the place, what did you guys think of the two main kids, Finn and Gwen? I know sometimes we're hard on child actors. I thought they did, a pretty good job in this movie. Gwen, obviously, kind of like the one looking after both. On Friday, she hangs out with her sister, or with her friend. Did you guys have an issue with the drunk daddy?
I mean, I had an issue with it, but I get the depiction. However, I think it bettered the kids' acting for that matter, or the relationship and dynamic between the two, because I thought they were great.
They kind of had the bond to be there for one another when the dad wasn't.
May not be like able to protect each other, but they're there for each other at least.
And if you guys are like, hey, I've seen that actor before, the guy who plays the dad, Jeremy Davis, we've talked about some movies with him in it before. He was in Saving Private Ryan. He was the rookie photo capture steal guy in Twister. So he's been in some different movies. But honestly, I would have liked to see those roles reversed. I would have liked to see him be the brother, and the guy who played the brother, the guy who played Max, I would have liked to see him play the dad.
Yeah.
I thought that would be pretty cool. The actor who played the brother was also in It Chapter 2. He played Eddie. He was in Sinister 2. Yeah. He's in some pretty good movies, but yeah, I think James Ranson is a great actor, and I would have liked to see him play the drunk dad.
One thing, like when I talk about, I want to see Ethan Hawke kind of take it to that next level. The dad was almost there more than Ethan was, because he was like, "Don't drop that bottle," and she dropped the bottle, and he just started teeing off on her. Like, I wanted to see that progressive anger more so with Ethan than the dad.
Almost make the dad look tame in a way, like
you wanted to you as a viewer wanted to see the grabber. You wanted to be fearful of the grabber.
Yeah,
You wanted, anytime you saw the grabber on screen, you wanted to be uncomfortable.
I wanted him to.
You wanted to be uncomfortable.
I wanted him to act as uncomfortable as he looked.
Yeah, true, and sounded. I think Ethan Hawke, though, nothing against him, I think he did a phenomenal job in this movie.
Yeah,
he had to act behind a mask. So you can tell he definitely turned it up a notch when it came to his dialogue, when it came to his voice acting, and when it came to the one-on-one shots with him and the kid in the movie.
Because it is tough to be behind the mask.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke did a phenomenal job. So yeah, 27 minutes it really takes until you see Ethan Hawke's character, the grabber, drop his groceries. He takes Finn. Let's talk about where a lot of people, whether it be online, this is the thing that sets the crowd from either you're going to like the black phone, you're going to hate the black phone, or some people love it for this concept. The black phone concept itself. It rings. Ethan Hawke hears static. The boy hears it, picks it up. He hears dead people. Somebody tell me you liked it, you love it. What the hell did you think about it? Black phone concept.
I didn't like it. I
liked it.
Why'd you like it?
I mean, honestly, I get why you wouldn't like it. To be honest, I get that. But at the same time, like, it was something a little different. They didn't, it wasn't something that was in the trailer, but it was. Because, I mean, you weren't sure if that was you can only receive calls from this phone. Or, you weren't sure why he was hang up the phone, kind of thing coming in.
Well, in the trailer, you hear hang up the phone, you think he's just on the phone to somebody he shouldn't be. But the concept of it being, I can hear the past victims through this line,
exactly. Yeah, that's the part one.
So you liked it because it's different. That's true. You don't really see a lot of it in today's movies. It was kind of a mind blown kind of thing. Honestly, the first time I watched it, this is my fourth time watching the film. I got to check it out in theaters, and then I got to check it out obviously when I picked it up and bought it. But the main thing for me was, I appreciated it more this third and fourth time around than I did in theaters.
Because I'll say, like, after the first time being a dead silent on the phone, like he picks it up and nothing's there. It's just like, okay, why?
And he even tells them, he's like, I hear stuff on the phone. I hear it ring, even though there's no connection. Like he even kind of tells them that he hears stuff from it, but he's like, there's nothing there. Like you can't call out, you can't talk to anybody.
But so, like, he even takes the cord and is like, or the cable or whatever, and is looking at it, and it's frayed, it's cut. And he's like, it's been that way forever, or since I was in here. Or
so
whatever.
Ed explained, he likes it because it's different. It's more little originality. Craig kind of let everybody know what was your main take. Like, I like the movie, but I didn't like the black phone concept.
Yeah. Like, and there's some storybooking that I just kind of thought of with Ed and what I think kind of happens in the movie. But yeah, I mean, like, I understand it adds originality to the movie and it adds something, and it's not just a kidnapping anymore. But it's just like the girl, like it's everything stacking together. The sister can dream and have premonitions. The kid can talk and see. The kids, like, it's just, it's just so far out of left field because you really didn't expect it that I was just like it doesn't work. It works, but I was just like, I don't know. I wanted something so much more than what it was.
I think as the story progressed, that's kind of why I liked it a bit more, is because, like, they explained that the mother had those, voices and premonitions and all that, or dreams or whatever. And then, the dad was sitting there with the little girl and was just like, you're not special like her. You need to stop this, because when the first time you encounter that is the police investigate, or the police little interview with her in the principal's office.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah, the black balloons. And they're like, where did you hear that? Because we did not release that. Where did you hear this? What do you know? Because it's kind of like, okay, do you have a connection?
And she was like, she was like, you think I'm the killer? You turned, like, I don't know what she said, but I was just like, what?
Dude, she went off. But, and as you go along, you realize the boy has the same thing. It's just, that's how he's able to hear these dead people.
I see dead people.
Exactly. That's how he's able to hear this. So it's a passed down hereditary kind of.
I think at the point, what I would have been fine with is, say, yes, the mother had the gift of being able to talk to people or see people. It was passed down to the daughter. The daughter had it, but wasn't completely sure of it. I would have liked the boy to have been so startled and scared when he was down under in the basement, not from the phone, but just by seeing a boy or some of the other kids. And he's like, oh, like, I have the gift that my mother had. And not he's able to actually talk and see them, and they can tell him, like, hey, I did this. This is how you should get out. I would have been okay with that, with him having the ability to see and talk to them. I didn't like how he had to talk to them through the phone when they're right there in front of him.
Well, okay, so he didn't have to do that with the one boy, the Billy or whatever, the one kid we had no idea about. That was like, doing a backbend and all.
Do that again, Ed?
No, that's the one he's seen, and it was just like, oh my god, because it hits that hard note for that.
I'm a cute little bumblebee, feeling like the caterpillar from a Bug's Life.
Oh, do it, Ed, do it. Do it again.
But no.
What you look like Ethan Hawke in the movie. You're like, this face.
But with this boy going along
Johnny, you
with
do
this
it.
whole thing, it was kind of a thing of does he just see that because that's when they want to be seen? And like when they're practicing the phone thing, go back, go forward, and all that, does he not see him next to him? Or what I mean? Like it's kind of like
I would have
wondered
rather not
half the
seen
time.
him.
That
And
was
that's,
another thing that was kind of like a love-hate relationship. I liked seeing
I will agree.
I liked seeing the dead bodies because I liked how you can kind of fantasize book on how the grabber killed them. And I thought it was creepy seeing kids, in makeup, in full effect, like, oh, they're dead kids. But at the other time, I feel like when they were dead talking to him, it took away from that horror aspect. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I don't
No.
like when the movie's trying to be serious. I don't want no cheese with my horror movies. If you're trying to be a cheesy horror movie, that's one thing. But if you're trying to be a personal, scary, physical horror movie, and it feels cheesy for some reason, then that kind of took away from some of the special horror aspect for me.
Yeah,
I can understand that because I mean, honestly, with that, with the one bent back kid, I can understand that one throughout all of it. But but that's mainly because with that Billy character, you didn't get that. I never remember that interact. I don't remember an interaction with Billy where with Bryce.
This is what he looked like.
To where with Bryce, you get the ball game. With Robin, you get him, if you mess with him, you mess with me kind of thing. And, fighting with Moose and all that.
Well, and I hated the baseball game because it looked like they were like sworn enemies for the last 8 years of their life since they were in diapers. And he's like, you almost got me. Good arm, bro. And he looks at him like, I did almost get you. Like,
but, and then you've got the Vance Hopper, which is talked about but not actually explained until his actual scene, which I kind of liked to a point. To a point I liked, but at the same time it was almost kind of like, why, like the dude was big enough anyways, so it's just kind of like, okay, I get it, but so I don't know. There was a few points where I was just like, okay, like the Vance Hopper scene about him with the pinball machine, that was just kind of like, why? I get you're making him out to like, oh, this dude was a big bully, but it's kind of like, okay, does that add to Ethan Hawke's character? Does that take away from Ethan Hawke's character? What are we doing?
So with the kind of going back to the Black Phone and what I thought about it, I kind of had the trailer going up and I was listening to it, and the trailer kind of depicts it the way I thought of it. Yeah. I thought, yes, the phone was cut off, but somebody who had been captured escaped and was able to find a way to connect to the phone, and then was able to kind of tell him like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. This is how I got out. That's the route I thought it was going to go, where, there is a phone there. He thinks it's disconnected, but somebody found a way to tap into it. I just, the whole Sixth Sense aspect of this movie, I was just like, it takes away from the aspect of Ethan Hawke being just a flat out killer, and I kind of hate that.
Boy, if you hate that, wait till I bring up something else I'm about to bring up. What before we get into some of the other stuff in the later part of the film, man, it sounds like I'm kind of shitting on this movie. I'm not. The score was phenomenal. What do you guys think of The Mask? I thought The Mask was just like super creepy and eerie.
The multi versions of The Mask.
Yeah, the multi versions.
The Mask was great. I think it added to the depth of the character and just kind of the, like you said, creepiness, but as well as the Mask gives him different personalities is kind of how I felt, because I'm like, this dude's got to be like bipolar in ways.
It's like he uses the different type of mask for the different stages.
Because it almost reminded me a little bit of Split in a way. Because, you've got the nice person that comes in, gives him food and all that. Then you got the one that's upstairs waiting to beat him to death, literally. And then you've got the one that's kind of in between that gives the eggs, but just throws them on the ground like you ruined this, so here you go.
And it kind of made me feel like, you know what, with him playing the games, and you got different levels of the game, maybe you almost have different levels of the grabber.
Yeah,
and maybe
because when he grabs them, there's no mask. Then when he first has them, it's up here. Second level, it's down here, and then I think third was all of it.
I think so, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Because, I mean, I think the nicer part was the top of it. The kind of like in between was the bottom, and he was waiting with the full mask up there to go ahead and just beat to death. So, yeah, I think you're right on that.
And that almost makes you wonder, like, maybe that was the downfall of not just him, but maybe any, I mean, I'm not trying to get in anybody's mind here, but maybe almost any serial killer. Like, why take your time to play a game? Was that what all this whole mentality aspect is it of? Because when he ran away the first time and you had him, you wouldn't have got caught. You should have just done away and did what you needed to do with him, kill him, and go on about your day.
But some of them like that. It's the high of the chase kind of thing, you know. It's the high of that game that they play. No,
the high?
Psychological, but no. It's the high of the game that they play. Simple. That's really it. You know, because it's.
Let's ask O.J. Simpson.
Oh,
we get him on the line.
Like,
wasn't he a running back here in Oklahoma anyway?
No, he's not guilty.
Oh, that's Barry Sanders. Never mind, same thing.
God.
You said same thing.
Yeah.
They were both very good running backs.
For shitty colleges.
Continue, Ed.
But you know, it's kind of like, why would you go ahead and, you know, skin people and make it into furniture and masks and stuff like that? Or why would you know what I mean? It's kind of all that kind of deal.
I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference in the movie.
Which was
in the bathroom when Robin was talking to him about, me and my daddy go watch Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, it's probably is it just as good as Enter the Dragon? Is it?
I'm about to sleep already. What?
And I don't know about you guys, but I really don't think there's any kind of comparison. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, Enter the Dragon 0.
Ooh.
Not saying Enter the Dragon is a bad movie, but
yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre just that damn good.
Okay.
I don't know. But let's kind of get to a little bit towards the ending when, you know, throughout the whole movie, you know, the phone calls is leading to Finn or Finny setting up these Home Alone traps, if you will. And, you know, that's another thing that kind of took the whole aspect of how the grabber is, you know, he kind of went out like
a bitch.
Yeah.
Like a bitch.
And I'm like, okay, not only do you let this kid out fool you in your own trap, but dude, I don't know, I didn't like the whole aspect of Finn strangling and killing the grabber
with a cordless phone that is it's like expandable. Cordless. Not cordless. It's like, corded. If he killed him with the cordless phone, them spears doing work.
Hey, you know, that came with a vengeance.
It probably would have been, I don't know.
I mean, the traps were, you know, because literally they were being set with the advice from the other kids.
Right. I mean, falling in the broken tile hole with the rug over it, breaking his ankle. Okay, I'll give you that.
From the window crate.
From the window through the wall.
Everything, like I said, my 5 things, every kid helped him do something. Whether it was getting the barrier down from the window, the hole that was halfway dug and he couldn't get out because he had, you know, he played the game. The freezer with the meat. It all played towards him getting, you know, out. But at the same time, it's like you lead up to this point while the girl's leading up to this point, and they both, like, he probably would have escaped anyway, because the police would have been there.
What'd you think of the grabber Ethan Hawke killing his brother with the axe?
That one was a golden kill, but I don't know. It
was a headshot.
That's the Ethan Hawke you wanted to see.
Yes,
that
like,
was
you didn't
kind
see
of
that.
more expected throughout the entire film. To be honest,
but you would think with his brother of all people, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
but
that's what the kind of like back and forth is to me. Is like the big surprise was just that just taking off and just whacking the hell out of him. But
like, it's not like he tried to, tie up his brother and put him back in the room and be like, dude, you were just super coked out or something. Like, he just immediately offed his brother, but yet he wants to play games with these little kids. I don't know. It does. It sounds like we're shitting on this movie, but these are just kind of nitpicks that I had watching it.
How did y'all catch the when he ran out of the house? Was that when y'all caught that? Because I mean, it wasn't until her actual premonition of the house that had the fence, but was that when y'all caught the differences between the house when he ran out? When he actually escaped and ran out but got caught because there was no fence there at all.
I legit thought that when he escaped, he was dead, and he finally escaped the house because they were searching the house when he was escaping.
Right.
And so I was like, oh shit, he's been dead for like 20-something years. The house is empty. He finally escaped. They were both dead. And now he's just a free roaming spirit. And they were like, no, the house is across the street. I was like, oh, I like my version better.
No, they didn't even say that the house was across the street. He just comes walking out from across the street. And
they knew it was across the street because they saw him walking out, but then they were like, oh, he owns this property as well.
Yeah, because that's what they said in the final interview and all that. Yeah. But that was, because when I was watching it with my wife, I was just like, we were going over and she's like, they're gone. And I was like, no, that's not the same house. I was like, that house is somewhere else. I was like, I didn't know it was right across the street, but I knew it was a different house because I was like, there's no board. There's not even like the shadows of pictures hanging. There's no fence in that one that he escaped from.
I was like, damn, I thought the dude moved out in the middle of the night and was about to go live in a cave in California.
Or what would you guys think if maybe it gave you like one of those Saw endings where he captured the boy and that was like months ago and they just now found the house and everybody's empty and they go downstairs and they see the boy dead, or they see the boy dead plus Ethan Hawke dead. Like that's when I first went to a theater and saw it. That's what I thought was going to happen when they went when they went into an empty house. I was like, oh, dude. I was like, they're both dead. It's been 6 months since, somebody's last seen. That's the ending I thought I was going to get.
And then him walking out
would have been pretty good.
Yeah, and then him walking out to the girl, seeing him, and the girl is the only one who's seen him. Boom.
Because she can see dead people.
Dead people. What? Yeah, but
that's how you make. No, I'm just kidding. That's exactly what Jai was talking about.
Oh yeah,
and you could have just ended the movie like that, and it would have left the ending to make you think, was he dead the entire time? Or
was he too late?
Was he dead? I think it kind of took a little bit of the lore away when you sent him back to school. I could have done
sure, dude.
I could. Oh my God, is he the one who killed the grabber? Dude, I thought the grabber was 7 foot tall. I don't think you needed to see him go back to school. I would have been okay with her putting her arms around her brother and ending it like that.
Yeah.
What would have been funny is he's riding his bike to school. He gets kidnapped again.
One of those kids just come up and beat his ass again.
Double Jeopardy, like, hey, I heard what you did.
That was my cousin.
You have to prove you're the toughest guy at school, and if you killed the grabber, I'm gonna beat your ass so I can tell everybody I'm still the toughest.
You got kidnapped by the grabber last time? Well, I'm the Riddler, the guy from Prisoners.
No.
I'm Paul Dano.
Cool.
Oh. movie.
Don't cross the streams.
It's like this movie ends and he gets abducted by Paul Dano and Prisoners.
And then Hugh Jackman's like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And Terrence Howard's like, "I just want to be Iron Man, brother." Speaking of prisoners, I know this is way off, but speaking of prisoners, Viola Davis. Anybody gonna go check out? I know we're checking out Pearl this weekend in theaters. Anybody else think about going and checking out Viola Davis's new movie, The Queen, something like that?
I don't know.
I'm projecting it. I'm hearing a lot of buzz. That's gonna earn a lot of money this weekend.
It looks good,
but is it gonna dethrone Top Gun?
Top Gun is actually number 6 or 5 right now. So number one is The Barbarian.
What?
So I have to look and see at it. Look at the trailer again. I think I've only seen the trailer one time, so I'm not entirely sure what it's even about. So,
favorite scene. If you guys had to pick a favorite scene from the Black Phone, Ed, we'll start with you.
Honestly, yeah, I've probably got to go with that because that was kind of a brutal imagery of the kid doing a exorcist midair, that, and I just thought that was kind of a good depiction of what happened and what's going on, kind of deal. So, yeah.
I would probably have to go with
the brother's death.
No. The scene where he goes upstairs and he sees Ethan Hawke with the belt, and then he kind of makes a break for it, and Ethan Hawke goes back after him. I thought that was a pretty bone-chilling scene. I also want to point out I like how the wall of the basement looked like the front poster of Sinister.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
It's
then the phone was
in the things that I was looking at for the top 5 things you didn't know. It was made to look like the poster of Sinister.
And then anytime, honestly, this movie was phenomenal. Ethan Hawke. Anytime you got Ethan Hawke on screen with his dialogue. So, Craig, what about you? Do you have a favorite scene from the movie?
Or lack thereof.
I liked when his first abduction with Finney, where he's like, "Oh, silly me! I dropped my groceries." Blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Of course, the kid. Are those balloons?" And yeah, the kid was stupid. Ethan Hawke was good. I like that scene. How he kind of gets him with his light spaceship in the arm. He's like, "You cut me," and he's like, how angered he got whenever he was in the basement. And then I think just how when he does that, he's like, "If you come near me, I'll scratch your face." And when Ethan Hawke says this face, and then kind of does that, the hand movements made that really creepy, because he's like this face, because it's like he's so joyous that just kind of taunting the kid, and it's like the game has started at that point, so he's like kind of overdoing it. But yeah, those 2 scenes were pretty fun.
Star rating, guys, 1 out of 10. 10 being The Departed, 1 being Ghostbusters 2016. Ed, we'll start with you. Star rating for the Black Phone.
8. I'd give it an 8. I liked it quite a bit.
Craig, star rating for the Black Phone.
1.
No, I'm just kidding. A strong 6. I think I want to go a little bit higher, but for now. I think I have too many issues with, which I know that shouldn't factor in, but I have too many things that I would do differently. So that's going to drop it down to a 6 from a 7.5 for me.
Seeing this a handful of times, I'm going to give this a 7. Because the rewatchability was honestly kind of fun. The score was good. I liked the practical effects when it comes to the makeup and the kids. The cast, I didn't have no issues with the cast. Ethan Hawke was tremendous. The jump scares too. Oh, Ed, first it was your cats, now it's your dog. You got a full blown zoo over there, brother.
You have no idea.
When
yeah, bumblebees
I'm giving it a 7. I think it was Ethan Hawke's performance was full blown amazing. The rewatchability was fun for me. It's not a slow paced film either. It's like an hour and 45 minutes, give or take. If I had to nitpick, the only reason I'm not going any higher is just because I feel like there's a little too many loose ends with the actual black phone concept.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a 7. It's good. Go check it out. It's on Peacock. If you don't want to spend the money to go check it out on Blu-ray DVD, it's on Peacock. So I think you can get Peacock for like $1.99 a month now to start out.
And I will say this: like, I had 0 issues with the actors or the scripts in this movie. The issues that I have come with kind of my storybooking and my what ifs. Like that's really the only issues I had. Other than that, the movie is still pretty solid. The actors were great. The dialogue was great. The jump scares were pretty good. And the score was just eerie enough for it to be, to make it what it was. So.
Yeah. Like I said, go check it out. Black Phone available now on Peacock, or if you're into physical media, you can go check it out, Blu-ray DVD. But we're going to read off a little bit of emails. I'm not going to go through the whole bag or even half the bag. We're running a little late because of our great interview with Jai CURRIE. Go back and listen to the episode around 30-40 minute mark. Go check out that interview with Jai. So now it's time to get into the email bag.
The mail's here.
And if you guys want to send in some comments, star ratings, or anything like that, again, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, or the easiest and fastest way to get a hold of us is the email, cinemen921@gmail.com. That's cinemen921@gmail.com. Kendall says, my first view of Philadelphia, and man, did it make me cry. As a dude, I'm cool with saying this because the performances were just that good. 10 stars from Kendall. Timothy says, can you name another movie with a 2 all-star cast that was that perfect as Philadelphia? First time watch. I can't believe I've never seen or heard about this movie. So amazing. 9 stars. What about you guys? Think of another movie that had just 2 amazing actors like that?
A 1-2 punch with that detailed of a story and not just some action story. It would take some digging. That's a good one. That's up there.
The Lighthouse.
Darren says the Black Phone I thought was good, but not as epic as everyone made it seem to be. Maybe the most overhyped film of the summer. 6 stars.
Dang. Well.
Hey.
Gabriel says, I don't know about a top 5, but some of my favorite shows in conversation that you guys have ever talked about. Your favorite movies of all time in episode 100, and then your on location episode from episode 200. Some fun conversations. I can't wait to see what's next. Nathaniel says, the Black Phone was original and loved how creepy it felt. What a conversation it should be for y'all start to horror season. Can't wait for the Black Phone. It gets a 9 from Nathaniel.
Hey.
Yuri says, Little Nicky is an all-time favorite and she loved the stream. Little Nicky gets a 7 from her. 7 stars for Little Nicky. Which I gotta say, if you guys want to hear us talk about something different that's not a full-blown horror movie, go check it out. We reviewed Little Nicky last Wednesday on Friday, the 14th podcast, and I gotta say, Craig, I the guys were entertained by some of my
how you doing that?
How you doing that?
How you doing that?
Or yeah. That's me now, and I accept it. Little Nicky's fun movie. Go back and watch that stream. It was a fun conversation.
The two, like, what are they, bros or whatever? Where they're just always the devil worshippers. They're like,
oh yeah, we're just some big fans of you and your dad.
Yeah.
Chicago kicks ass. Like
it's like very
stoner comedy.
It's like Jay and Silent Bob if they were in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah. And you know what? For those of you who are wanting to watch Little Nicky, go check it out. It's on Netflix. And go back and listen to the episode.
Of course it is.
Sarah97 says Black Phone gets an 8. Simple, different, unique, nothing great, just an 8. She rhymes.
Nothing great, just put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
That's like that's better than it's fine. Like nothing great, it's an 8. It's right there. It's hey,
nothing great.
That's a slogan right there.
Somebody write that down. I'll keep it in an email. Sam G69, Black Phone is just an okay film for me. I'd give it a 6. I don't know if I'd ever have the desire to rewatch it again. The best thing was Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Coco Chris says the Black Phone was mediocre horror at best. 6 stars, had way more potential than I thought it should, or he had more potential for it. I see.
Yeah. Man, hey, me and the people just get it. All right, we just get it.
I'm going in.
What was that? You got a flat tire over there.
Yeah, I got a flat tire.
Car crash.
I'll finish it with this, and then we'll get ready to move on to the next. Victor says Black Phone was amazing, a great watch, different kind of horror movie than I expected, but better than what I expected. 9 stars from Victor. So it looks like Black Phone is definitely getting
50-50.
getting some 50-50 emails, and that's what I like to see. I like to see something on the verge of the in between. So hopefully we'll be getting some more fun emails. We do have some more Philadelphia emails. I'm just gonna read them next Monday.
Let's get one more Philadelphia email.
One more Philadelphia. All right.
Nothing great. It's an 8. All right.
Nothing great. All right. This is a good one. From Barbara. Do you guys think that half the stuff that they mentioned in Philadelphia in 1993, would you be able to get away to making a movie like that in today's time and age?
We had mentioned this. I don't think so.
You don't think they could make a movie today about? I mean, if I had to put my movie thinking cap on, the last time the foul language and stuff like that was used, Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey, he used a lot of like profanity and stuff towards homosexuality, I guess, in that movie. But even then, let me go see.
What was that? 2013 was Dallas Buyers Club?
Might have been 2013. I think you hit it right on the nail.
Honestly, I think it's how you portray it, and how you go.
2013.
Because I mean, honestly, if it's I know, but I mean, like, I think because lately,
even then,
it's a hard thing to say.
I
think you could get away with doing it today, but you're gonna have to make it a rated R movie, and I think even then, with it being rated R, I don't think a lot of people are gonna go see your movie.
With the fluidity that Denzel used some of the words he used, I think it's a little rough for some people, in my opinion.
You also have to find an actor willing to say all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio, probably.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, Ed, I'll fight you tooth and nail. At the end of the day, film is art, and it doesn't matter really what the person. It doesn't really matter what the person says in the movie. At the end of the day, it's art.
The message behind it.
I think you could get away.
I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and argue.
I think you could get away with it.
I'm gonna say this because I mean, don't get me wrong. Cancel culture is a big thing, and there's not many people who can escape that. That even
Robert
actors,
Downey Jr.
directors,
did.
producers, different stuff like that. But but you don't have Robert Downey Jr. coming out saying,
So you're going back on it. At the beginning of the email, you said you could get away with it. Craig was the one who said you couldn't get away with it.
I'm saying there's certain ways you have to do it. It can't be just full out disrespectful to the point that you just don't care. It has to be meant in a way that is kind of like putting this kind of. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you have, a bunch of homosexual slurs, racial slurs, or, phobic slurs out there, and it's just, blazing saddles type stuff. It's
There's a reason that's the perfect example. There's a reason it's not shown anymore. Can you do that
dance again, Ed?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, like, art is art. I get that. We've had that discussion before. I fully get that.
Not a discussion.
But at the same time, we've had that discussion before, but at the same time, it's the fact of that you have to do it certain ways because cancel culture is real, and you can't just, go out saying any and everything you want with just.
I think
you can say.
I think the way you're using cancel culture right now is inappropriate. In all honesty, because when we're talking,
another thing right there. That's another thing. You're going on that same trail.
You're calling it cancel culture when as a society we should learn when and how to use certain words.
True, as a society we should also use and learn to when to cancel and not to cancel things. Because guess what? At the end of the day, if a director wants to put out something who is the dialogue is just outlandish and he thinks it's going to offend everybody, guess what? There's still a production company and there's still a company who puts the movie out there. They have to see the movie and get an R rating, and even then they're like, oh yeah, even though this is like the dialogue is way out of line, we're still going to back your movie up. All that gets okayed before it's in theaters.
But I mean, even so
even that being said, the moment it hits theaters, the cancel culture shit is out the door because guess what? It's already been approved. It's in theaters.
Just because it's in theaters does not mean it's out the door, dude. Literally, it does not mean that. It can happen 20 years later. Literally, everything that
But what?
Okay.
It's
out the door. Okay.
We're talking about like an immediate movie being made today, not talking about canceling 20 years from now.
So, I mean, we starting, like that. Okay.
I mean, when's the last time you've seen a Spike Lee joint? He just had 2 movies in the last 4 years come out with so much bad dialogue. You think he gave 2 shits? The movie made money. The movie's one of the highest.
He did it in a way he's able to, though, dude.
What do you mean?
He did it in a way he's able to. He's one of those that's expected of that.
So just because it's expected of him, that's one thing. Is that because you're saying because he's a black director, it's okay for him to do it? Is that what you're saying?
No. You're taking that way out of fucking context.
Well, I'm just saying. No. Let's go down that line then.
Fucking right.
Let's go down that line then.
That's not right.
You just said it's expected of him.
He does films like that because he likes to go ahead and get shit out there. That's going to go ahead and.
I agree with Ed on this. He didn't mean it like that. He does
that shit.
Spike Lee's reputation has proven that he's willing to do those kind of films.
Let's go the other direction then. Let's go with the white director, Quentin Tarantino. Same thing.
Same thing though. Same exact thing.
So if Quentin Tarantino made a movie, If Quentin Tarantino made a movie about Philadelphia and used all that dialogue, you'd be like, oh, there's no cancer consolation there because it's Quentin Tarantino. That dialogue is expected of him, right?
In a way, yeah, especially if he comes in and has everybody blow their brains out, sure. But if you go ahead and have Michael Bay or someone like that come
Michael Bay would never touch that film, though.
But that's what I'm
Did you imagine that
saying, dude.
So you're saying it depends on who directs it and who reads the dialogue?
It does.
That makes no sense.
It does.
It makes no sense.
It fully makes sense. If we just start dropping homophobic slurs on this
so if
thing,
Robert
we're just the usual thing, and that's pop.
Hey, chill.
That right, but I'm saying that's the thing right there, dude. If we started that shit, which we're not doing, don't get me wrong, but if we started that shit, we're fucked up. We're fucked up. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. But if someone that like that's what their shit was about. Possibly
I
get away with
think
it, maybe not.
I think
Don't
the
know.
only thing that matters is the line that the movie toes on. Is it
And yeah.
is it only using it to be productive for the movie to push an agenda forward that successfully helps the meaning of the film? That's the only
Exactly
reason
what
it
I'm
would be
saying.
acceptable. To show that yes, this guy is saying it, but we don't accept it in the way that he's saying it. That's
Because,
like
I mean,
really the only way that it would be acceptable. in
He's
today's
saying
culture.
it because he's the asshole, he's the bully, he's the one that's
He's
expected,
the
and something
antagonist.
happens to him that is atrociously just horrible, and that's what he gets because that he didn't need to be that. Yeah, that's exactly how I'm saying. Literally, word for word. Like that's exactly what I mean.
Thank goodness y'all have me.
But I mean, I get that, but the way you just pointed out there, like you could say you could hear, oh, Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, I'm not gonna go see that movie because Matthew McConaughey said the F word like 20,000 times and then said he didn't want some hard rock in his ass. Are you gonna go see that movie, or are you just gonna be like, you know what, Matthew McConaughey is saying that word 20,000 times, I'm gonna stay away from that movie?
Depends on me.
There
That depends on me fully right there.
Depends on the person viewing the art and depends on the person calling the subject
but
matter.
at the same time, okay, like I'm into music. I'm into Metallica. I think Metallica's music's pretty cool. At the same time, cancel culture has tried to take out Metallica because of past differences that they've had and past allegations of whether it was racial, whether it was, different stuff like that. That's part of that. That shit was out 30,
I just wanted
20,
one more
15
email.
years ago, But that's
I just wanted one more email.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. If you've gone ahead and tried, it's getting back on subject. If you've gone ahead and tried to go ahead and throw those out, it depends on how, who, and what for. It does depend on that. Because yes, anybody could say that, 100%. You could have that said, Paramount Pictures releases it, biggest blockbuster movie kind of promotion out there. And guess what? 3 weeks later, Paramount's being sued, you're being sued, the director's out for shit, all the actors are getting canceled, all that shit can happen. Or it could blow up and be one of the biggest movies ever, or just be under the radar. It's got a potential to do every bit of it. Every bit of it. Just because it's promoted, just because it's greenlit, just because everybody's on board does not mean that it cannot get fucked up. Look how long Sonic took to come out, and Sonic was
Oh
used
my
because
god!
it's
Don't
fucking
bring
true,
up
dude.
Sonic.
It's
bring
true.
up any other subject matter other than Sonic.
But I'm saying that it's true. People's opinions have a change on any and everything that happens with that. Any and everything. Whether it's, oh, his eyes don't look, dude, don't make it look real because, man, and I was agreeing with it, But I mean, that's, yeah.
It is what it is. Go back and check us out next Monday, episode 211, as we get ready to talk all about another A24 movie, as we talk about, that's not Pearl, as we talk about Pearl next Monday, September 19th. Guys, it's the first time we've been back in a theater since August the 5th. We're going back to the theater to watch a new A24 movie, Pearl, the prequel to X, which we just got done talking about a few weeks ago. Just when you thought it was safe to run away from an A24 movie, we're going back. Ed, you guys excited? Anybody excited for Pearl next week?
Yeah, I mean, the poster looks pretty cool, so we'll see how that Mia Goth doing a different role, but possibly the same. I don't know.
Craig?
I have no expectations.
No expectations.
She better be a dancer.
I have no expectations. I don't know what to expect anymore with A24.
True.
This is true. And this is I think this has taken place 50 years prior to X.
Yeah.
So next Monday, Pearl hits theaters this Friday. You can check it out in theaters, and we'll talk about it next Monday, September the 19th, episode 211. If you guys are interested in our bonus episodes, Edward, myself, and Ernie will be talking about Akira, which that bonus episode is going to be available this Thursday. September the 15th, 7:30 p.m. You can watch us right here on Imisawa Productions as we get ready to talk about, it's our first full-length feature anime film, and we're talking about it this Thursday. So you guys, I believe you can check it out on Hulu. So it's Akira this Thursday, Pearl next Monday. Craig, anything else before we head out of here and jump on to Pearl next week? Also, don't forget, we talk to Nicholas Rice next Monday as we talk about his new book, which is, I believe, on the New York Times bestseller list.
Nice.
Yeah. Nicholas Rice joined us a few years ago when we talked about the 20th anniversary of The Grinch. So next week we talk to Nicholas Rice about his book, Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight. We'll have him on for a little bit. So next Monday, Craig, you excited?
Yeah, we'll just we'll see how everything goes this weekend with Pearl. OU's playing Nebraska. Be a good one. So it'll be a good week this week, I think. I'm gonna go. I'll check out Sonic or something.
There you go.
Edward, what about you? You hyped for Pearl next week? I know you weren't a big fan of X, but maybe we'll see where the story preludes to from like 50 years prior.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it couldn't, it's got to be probably around a similar story because she said, she was similar to her in a lot of ways. So we'll see how that is true or not.
Interesting times. Horror season has fully taken into effect. Next week, September the 19th, we're talking Pearl. And then to finish the month of September, guys, I'm kind of excited about this one. From Dusk Till Dawn is going to be the movie that finishes up the month of September. Episode 212 from Dusk Till Dawn. We talked about Quentin Tarantino a little bit ago. And then to kick off October, Signs.
Man.
Yeah, I know you guys are big Sign fans. Don't forget your foil hats and your bottled water for that episode. But until next week, guys, Pearl, unless you guys have anything else, we will talk to you next Monday right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.